Hi, this is Joe from Joe's Tech Bits. I hope you like my new intro space shuttle being powered by Tech Bits. And what I'd like to do today is show you how to create a spreadsheet using the Numbers app from your iPad. And here we go. We'll start with the main screen on your iPad, and keep in mind anything that you do on the iPad will also work on the Mac, MacBook, Mac Mini, iMac. So this is your main screen. If you see down in the dock, there is a numbers icon. If you see down the bottom here, there's my numbers. The green little icon down here is the numbers icon. If you don't see it there, then you have to look for it on your desktop, on your screen. But once you find it, you can click on that. It'll take you to numbers. Now, if you had something open before, it's probably going to take you to the last thing you had open. And you probably don't want to do that for this thing I'm doing, this little tutorial. So let's start fresh. If you have something open, look in the upper left-hand corner where you see it says Spreadsheets. Once you see Spreadsheets in the upper left-hand corner, I'll give you a minute to find it. You tap on that. I don't know if you're using the pencil or not, but you might want to use just your finger for this one so you can match what I'm doing. You can tap on Spreadsheets, and it'll take you here to a page where you can find a spreadsheet you already started, or if you see the plus sign right in the middle, right in the upper left on the main screen, it's a plus sign. It says Create Spreadsheet. Now, once you find Create Spreadsheet, you got it? Yet? Okay. Hit the plus sign, and it takes you to choose a template. Now, you can scroll up and down here. They got all kind of templates you can start with. You can even put together like a calendar and different budgets and stuff for business and all. But what I want to just start with is the basic. So go under basic, and you see at the left-hand side under basic, it just says basic. I guess it says. Once you see where that is, tap on that to open it. Now you have a basic spreadsheet, and this is where I wanted to start with you. Now, first, I'm going to show you how to put the months in, and then we can put a few expenses down the left side, expense titles, and then I'm going to show you how to format the cells for money. Then I'll try and show you how to sum everything. Oh, if you look at the top, there's a very light line up at the top, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, if you want to know where a certain cell is, if you look down the left side, there's numbers, 1, 2, 3, and so forth. Now, this cell I have highlighted here is under the B column, right? And if you look to the left, it's under B2. You see that? Down the left, the 2 is highlighted, and you can see that's the row. It's row 2. And the B is the column. So you're in cell B2. That's how you would find it. Okay, now let's start with the months. if you look down the lower right-hand corner, there's two little icons. One is a bigger one, says it's like a lightning bolt, and it says Cell. We'll get to that later. But the other one is like a little mini keyboard. If you click that, the keyboard will come up, okay? So let's go. We're going to put all the months in for 12 months. And you can see we don't have enough for 12 months, but I'll show you how to extend that out. Well, let's start with January. Type in JAN, and if you hit return, it puts January in, right? Now, go back to the next one. You notice when I hit return, it dropped it down. Well, we want to go left to the next cell, which would be C2, right? If you can see that, C2 is that cell. So start putting in February, FEB, all right? Now, you don't have to hit anything. Just tap the cell D2, and you see it automatically spelled out February, and it took you over to D2. Now, the next month is March. I'll just put MAR. And I'm not going to do anything else there. Just tap the next cell, which is E2. And you notice March filled in. Okay, April, APR. Tap F2 to highlight that. April, then May, MAY. Well, you don't have, that's spelled out already. Tap G2 and type in, you could type in JUN. I would put JUNE since it's a short month. Now, you run out of places to put it. Well, the way you extend the spreadsheet to the right is if you go up to see where it says G, where G is highlighted, to the right of that there's a little, I don't know if that's an arrow or something, but if you tap on that and hold it, you can extend out. Whoa, I went too far. Now see, I went way, way too far. But anyhow, it added more cells. But in order to see the front ones, you have to go back and forth like this. Anyhow, so we got enough here. We can put July. Oh, we lost the keyboard, so let's hit the keyboard again. July, August. Oh, I didn't want to do that up there. I wanted it down here. I highlighted the wrong cell. AUG. Tap that. September. October, November, and December. And there you can hit return and it'll put it in. Now, if you just slide over, you'll see that we put a few extra cells. I think if you hold this button up here again, you can just go all the way back and delete those and just leave it up to December, because that's all you need. You don't need any further. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to show you is, over here is where we're going to put our items. Okay. Let's put one in. Again, you tap in that cell, which is A3. So tap in A3 and highlight it. Now we're going to go back to the keyboard. And we'll say electric. Okay. Now hit return, it'll go down one. Let's see, food. Go down one. Gas. Oil. You can put whatever you want in there. Let's see, what others can we put? Weed. Snow shovels. Car. Maintenance. You can put anything you want down here. Doesn't matter. Okay, now here's what we're going to do. If you look here down the very bottom right, there's a keyboard with a down arrow. If you click that, you tap that, the keyboard will go away. But you get the two icons back, so don't worry about it. Now, what we want to do here is since we're going to be putting money in all these cells, right? Right now, if you put a number in there, say $20, right? It goes in as 20, but it doesn't recognize it as $20. So I'm going to go back and delete that, right? And that'll pop up, but don't worry about that. Just close that again. Now, what I want to do is, if you take this top cell, which is B3. Oh, let's go to B2. No, B3. Hold your finger on B3 and just drag down. You can go all the way down to here or whatever. Okay, now, if it looks like that, if you got it highlighted, if not, just tap somewhere else and try again. You have to press and hold and drag it. All right. Now, if you see up in the upper right-hand corner, there's a bunch of icons. The leftmost icon, which is right there, I'll show you again. This is your formatting. Since I have that cell highlighted, whatever I do in the formatting is going to affect every cell that's highlighted. So you see it's set for automatic right now. I want to have it currency. You can have numbers, but currency will add a $sign and all that. So hit the currency. Now to get out of here, tap this top again. Now go over and just tap anywhere to get out of there, and then tap one of the cells and get your keyboard up. Now, if you notice, instead of all the letters and stuff, it just shows you numbers, right? So you can type $20 in now and hit next. Now you see it added the $sign and it added the decimal point and 2 zeros afterwards. So it's in currency format. So one other thing I forgot to tell you, when you're doing all those formattings, you don't have to do one column at a time. You could start like here and go down and go all the way across. So we got to move this over. All the way across past December. And whatever you have selected and highlighted there, you can go into here. And don't forget, there's different options up here. There's cell, there's format. But you can make this all currency, and it's going to change them all at the same time. That's just something you can try out. So let's go down and fill in some of these. Say $22, $6. These numbers are just random. $89, $44. You can put any numbers you want here. $66. And say 32. Okay, now you can close your keyboard again. Hit the little keyboard with the down arrow at the lower right-hand corner, right there. Now, you did that for each column, for just the one column for January. Now, it's formatted, and you can, see that it's currency. If you go into February, March, and April and all that, it will be still set at the other format automatic. So you'd have to go through and change each month the way we did the first one to show that currency formatting. So to do that, you go here and you go down. You can go down as far as you want, but it looks like you only get, we didn't extend this. There's a little button over here, if you want it on the left side at the lower end of all the numbers, the row numbers. You can pull down on that and give you more cells, but you probably don't need, well, if you need more, you can add more. Just pull down on this here. Whoops, that didn't work. Let's try it again. There we go. You can try it yourself. Okay, so you can go down as far as you want. Doesn't matter. Usually when I format a row, I'll do as much as I can. So let's try this now. Hold your finger on there and pull down as far as you want. Let's go right down the bottom. Go up to this format button here and say currency. And then hit format again to close it. Now, if we put a number in there, you have to click out and back over here. Let's put a number. Open your keyboard. Let's put 56 or something like that. Who knows? Now, see it put the. I just closed the keyboard again. It put numbers. Now, here's the last step I'm going to show you. In order to sum the columns, let's put an item here. And for some reason, that's set up as, over here, I see it says, you see where above the keyboard right in the middle there, it says 1, 2, 3, it's highlighted, right? Well, we don't want numbers in that column, we want letters, so we click ABC, and that puts us back to the regular keyboard. So you can go from numbers, I don't know what that last one is. I'm not going to hit it though. Go to letters and put in the word total. and hit return and close your keyboard. Now I'd like to show you one thing before I show you how to total the columns and rows. If you see in our row that has the months, what I did, I selected the whole row. By tapping on the number of the row, number 2. Now what I'd like to check before we go ahead with our totals is to make sure that this row is not numeric. So if we tap the formatting, we can check to see that it is text, which is good. But what I'd also like to do is go over to the cell, and you can see under font there's a B in green, a green block. That means bold has been selected. You can see the difference when I tap bold. But I'd also like to make the text a little bit bigger, the font. So over here on next to size, to the right of size, there's a minus and a plus. You can make it smaller and you can make it bigger. I think about maybe a 14 font size, and bold is pretty nice. You can definitely see the months and the titles. Now if we close this by tapping up on the key, I think it's a key. The other thing I'd like to do is move this row that's highlighted up one, and because if you see the gray row is meant for titles, and I'll show you what happens when we put the titles up there. If you tap on the number, this selection menu comes up, and I can do a copy. So if I tap copy, then if I go up to the first row and bring up the selection menu, I do a paste. So you see everything pasted up there and copied to that top row. But what it did, it seemed like it put an extra row in. So if we go to row 2, you could leave that extra row if you like the space, but I think I'm going to delete that. If you tap on the 2 and highlight the whole row and bring up the selection menu here, the cut, copy, paste menu, I guess you could call it, and hit delete. Now it takes that extra row out. Then you do the same thing again with the original row and click delete. Now we're back to where we were. We'll get out of that row. Except the months are in the gray row. And what's important about that, you can see if we slide the spreadsheet, suppose you had it all the way down here, if you slide that up and down, the months will not move, they'll stay there. You'll still see the titles. And the same with the left here. You can slide this all the way over to December and still see the monthly bill titles. So that's important. So I just wanted to show you that before we start in with the totaling of the columns and rows. I wanted to show you one other thing But before we do that, if we look at the monthly bill titles along the side, we might as well change the format on those. And I could select the whole column by tapping on A up here. But since monthly bills, the title monthly bills is already formatted, I can start here, and if you tap on that starting cell, you can see whenever you select a cell, there's a dot at the lower right-hand corner and a dot at the upper left-hand corner. If you pull on that dot, that's the easiest way to extend the selections. We'll say we'll go down that far. Now, so that whole selection is selected. So we'll go here to the key, and I'd like to make sure we have bold, and it's still set as at 10 point. So I'm going to raise that to 14, just like the titles. So it makes it real nice and easy to read. Now, the other thing I didn't do at the top, which I'll go back and do, if you see here, right below the text color line, there's an alignment line. And the second from the left is the centering. So that's its centering. Now you can see the titles are centered. Or maybe you might even like them better right justified, or like it was originally. I think the left justified looks pretty good. But we have the bigger titles. So we might as well go back up and do that centering with the top title line. We can close that. Now let's go down to our total cell for January. Now, if you notice, I put some different titles in there from what we originally had. And I put, instead of putting random different numbers, I'm just going to use $10 because it's a lot easier to see what's happening if you use like a small even number. So January, every item is $10. February, every item is $10. But if I select the total under January in that same row, and I hit the cell button here and scroll up, there's some quick formulas you can use. One of them is sum. So if I hit sum, what it did, it automatically summed all the rows above, and you can see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. It put in the total of $60 there. But you can see what it didn't do, because January was formatted as text, it didn't include that in the sum. So that's automatic. That's why I made sure the titles were all formatted as text. Now, what about the rest of the months? Well, what I can do, I can tap on this where the formula is. Although we don't see a formula, we see just the output of the formula. But what I'll do is do a copy, and now what I'll do is tap the next cell to the right, and I'll grab one of these little dots and bring this all the way over, and I can keep it going all the way out. We might be able to use the total all the way out to yearly total. So what I can do now, since I copied the first total cell, what it'll do, if I do a paste, it's going to paste the formula in all the rest of them, and it'll change the cell numbers. So let's see, we'll do a paste. Now, when I do a paste, it's going to say paste the values or paste the formulas. We want to paste the formulas. So you can see, well, here's February. February put a $60 in the total. And you can see that right there. And it shows in the light blue selection all the cells that are included in that total. Now, of course, there's nothing in the rest of the year, so we won't see anything there. But if we go over here and say put $10, of course, we'll need the keyboard. Now it changed the total to 10 down here. So you can see that that works. That's one of the reasons I use $10, because you can pretty much figure out immediately if it's working or not. Now the last thing I would like to show you is, if we go here, like to get our yearly total. So what we can do is tap there. Now, if I do a sum, it seems that the summing only sums columns, but I like to sum from January all the way out to December. So what I'll do is tap on yearly total, that particular cell, and each row here will give me the yearly total for each of these items on the left. So if we do cell, and we'll go here and say new formula. Tap that. Now you see a new formula comes up. Next to the red X, it's waiting for a formula. So what we can do, we can take from December and go all the way back. Keep going back. We don't want the title screen. But now I have from January all the way through to December. And you see what happened down here next to the red X? It put the word sum, and it put B2 to M2. Now, if you notice here, December is in M2 cell. If you go back here, the figure in January is B2. So all you have to do now is hit the green check mark, and you notice it puts the total so far for January and February. Now, this way you can use this method to make more complex formulas, but if you just want to do a simple cell, that's how you do it. Now, if we go down again, let's close our keyboard. Let's go here. And get our cut, copy, paste menu up. And we'll do a copy. And then we'll start here and use our little See, I'm just going to highlight where we have the, you can see it it's easy to highlight it because you can move this over right next to the titles. But we're highlighting where the titles are, but I don't want to go down too far because that will show us the totals for every item. So we'll do a paste. And do we want paste formulas or paste values? We want paste formulas. And you can see there's $20 at the top. January and February each have $10 in each of those categories. Over in May, we have a $10 in home gas, just as a demonstration. So if we look here, we'll bring us over here so we can see home gas has $30 in it. $10 in January, $10 in February, and May we put another $10. So that worked fine. And then down here at the bottom of yearly total, we have a total for all of the months for the year. So if you add that all up, 20, 40, 70, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130. It adds up to 130. So this particular cell will give you the total for the whole year for all the categories, your monthly bills. One last thing I'd like to show you, which I didn't remember earlier, is the back button or undo button right up next to the word Spreadsheets. Now, you can see if I put numbers, and I put them in the wrong place by mistake, what I can do is hit the back button or the undo button and take those out. I can go back probably as far as I want. I don't want to go too far because I'll take this formatting or something out. But that's it. So what I'd like to do now is say that's about it for today. And I hope you learned something from this. All I wanted to show you was a basic, very basic spreadsheet just to get you started so that you would want to look more into it and try some fancier ones. Don't forget, you can use one of the templates and everything's made already for you. If you can find one that you can use, they have colors and graphics and charts and pie charts and all kind of other things. So take a look at that when you start your spreadsheet. Look at the templates and try one out. See how you make out. So that's it for now. Until my next video, I will see you again. Please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you can. And we'll see you next time. Bye.